If you're not generating enough qualified sales calls for your business, if you're struggling with low show-up rates, low close rates, let me introduce you to a concept I created called the sale before the sale that has totally revolutionized our business. It's allowed us to scale with less appointment setters, less salespeople, and higher profit margins than we've ever had before. So let me walk you through the numbers really quickly. So the rough idea behind this concept is that the majority of buyers, the people that are looking to potentially work with you, don't actually reach out to you until they've already completed about 70% of the buyer journey, okay? And why is this an issue? Well, this is an issue for most people because they think that their buyer journey starts when the prospect reaches out to them for the first time. They think, okay, when this person opts into one of my funnels, when they download a lead magnet, when they book a call, now the sales process begins. Now the buyer journey begins. But the data shows us otherwise. It actually shows us that over 70% of the buyer journey has already completed, okay? And so if you're watching this video and you're thinking, well, I don't really have anything before they download a lead magnet, before they opt in, before they give me their name, email, phone number, before they book a call, then that's likely the reason why you're not getting enough qualified sales calls. Because if you don't have any of that and they need that before they book a call, then they're likely just going to go to your competitors. And it's also the reason why a lot of people struggle with low show-up rates and low close rates is because they're forcing people to try to go through this buyer journey after they book the call, which is leading to all of those issues there, right? And there's so much data that backs us up, not only in the overall marketing and sales world, but even in our business, because when we made these changes, it revolutionized the way we were able to scale our business. So let me kind of walk you through what this looks like. Majority of people's marketing and sales process. So marketing is going to be this, our little gold color here, and sales is going to be this black color over here. So we've worked with thousands of businesses in the past few years, and I'd say that about 80% of the clients that come to work with us, their marketing and sales process looks like this. So their marketing process is about, let's say, 15 to 20% of their overall buyer journey. And then their sales process is picking up all the rest. It's about 80% of their buyer journey. And this seems cool and great and everything. You know, you can say, oh, I have a big appointment setting team. I have a big sales team. I have this huge company, except for this is the backwards way of doing things. This is how things worked maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago. But today, buyers are more aware than ever. They're more educated than ever. And so if they can't get the information they need before they reach out to your sales team, then they're going to go to your competitors. They're going to go to somebody else. And so this is where a lot of people try cold email, cold outbound. They run ads directly to their booking pages, and they're wondering why people aren't booking calls. They're wondering why nobody's showing up to these calls, and they're wondering why they have an atrocious close rate like 10% or 15%, okay? So this is what you see the majority of the time. High use of appointment setters, high use of salespeople, and a massive, inefficient marketing and sales process where you're kind of just running a numbers game, okay? And now there's about like 5 or 10% of the people that come to work with us, and they have like a 50-50% ratio. And if I'm being honest with you, this was what we were even 12 months ago, right? I had a video sales letter that was like 2 minutes long. I had an ad that was 1 minute long, and we were driving all this traffic to it, and we were getting an insane amount of booked calls. And they were really cheap. They were like, $50 to $100 a booked call. But the problem with that was that our sales team was incredibly inefficient. We were getting a 40% show-up rate. We were having a 15 to 20% close rate. Less than 30% of the calls that booked were even qualified based on our standards. And so it's definitely a little bit better than this over here because we were giving people some information before they booked a call, but it really still was going against the grain. People were still just booking calls because they kind of had to, instead of booking calls because they wanted to, which obviously leads to a lot better numbers down the road. And so this worked for a while. It got us to our first, $10+ million online. But knowing what I know now, knowing how important it is to make the sale before you make the sale, I would change everything if I were to do it again. And this is exactly what we help our clients do. And this is kind of the new marketing and sales process. This is something on a larger concept I call the self-sustaining funnel, which I cover. I'll link this to this video where I cover this entire 33-page document down below. But the self-sustaining funnel essentially has us doing about 90% of the buyer's journey before a prospect books a call to speak with you, right? So the vast majority of the education, the vast majority on selling somebody why they should work with you, who you are, what you do, et cetera, is happening before they even book the call. And that last 10, 15, 20% is where the appointment setting team comes in, the sales team comes in, et cetera. And this has been massive for us, right? This has allowed us to cut back our sales team, cut back our setting team without cutting back the amount of cash that we're collecting. And the other kind of keynote I want to show you here, this key is you could replace marketing with leverage and sales with no leverage, because that's exactly what it is. Marketing, as I'm going to show you in a moment, has infinite leverage. I can make this video one time with me sitting in my room in 30 minutes and millions of people can see it. Doesn't cost us any more money. But then if I want people to start maybe working with us, they have to book a call to speak with us, and so they get on the phone with a salesperson, an appointment setter, and that doesn't have any leverage because I can only have a salesperson, appointment setter work with so many people every single day. And so we really want to focus all of our time on adding as much leverage as possible and making the no leverage stuff as minimal as possible. So for example, here, there's not a lot of leverage, right? I'm maybe running an ad or I'm doing cold outbound or something like that. And then all of this stuff is very unleveraged stuff. I have appointment setters, I have salespeople. Same thing over here. Maybe I have a little bit more content, but I'm still relying a lot on non-leveraged aspects or elements. But then over here, I have as much leverage as humanly possible. You can have a one-person marketing team for a 10 million plus a year business, and then you just have a handful of salespeople or appointment setters doing the non-leveraged stuff on the back end, okay? And this is what I call the sale before the sale. You're doing about 90% of the work as your marketing team, and your sales team's doing about 10% of the work. I'm gonna walk through a few examples of what this looks like here, but I hope you understand how important this concept is, because it's going to make it so much easier for you to get more book calls. I know people think, oh, if I just send more people to my calendar, if I send more my calendar out more and more, then that's going to get me more book calls. But that's not the case. It's probably not that hard to find the way to book a call to speak with you. If people really wanted to, they could find a way to speak with you. You're not getting enough sales calls because you're not giving enough content before they have to speak with your sales team, right? That's the sale before the sale, and this is kind of what the self-sustaining funnel is. So there's a few ways that you can give the majority of your content before people book a call to speak with you. So the first is obviously going to be through Facebook ads, paid advertising. We spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in paid ads, and that's one of the main ways that we get people to learn and know about us before they even speak with us. Some of our ads don't even lead to a booking page or a sales page. We're just giving them content to consume before they book the call to speak with us. And sure, some of it I'm not able to track, oh, this person watched this and clicked this and did this here, but I know for a fact that when we started educating people more, when we started putting more content out there for free, top of funnel, we started getting way more qualified book calls and way more sales bottom of funnel, okay? Another example, this would be low ticket. So we also run ads to low ticket offers or self-liquidating offers. So these are offers that are $37, $97, $7, and this is a way that somebody can pay a little bit of money to speak with you and doesn't cost you really much, obviously, because a lot of these times these are digital products and they're consuming your content beforehand. So I have one called Show Up Secrets, where we show people how we were able to double our show up rate in less than 30 days. And a lot of it's actually walking through what I'm talking about right here. And this system, we do, I don't know, let's say 20 or 30 sales of this low ticket thing every single day. And so people are buying this on their own time. They're not having to speak to a sales team. They're just putting their credit card information in. They're going through it. They're consuming it. And then when they're ready, they're booking a call to speak with us. Another great example as well is collaborations. So I do a bunch of collaborations every single month. I speak at events. I get on podcasts. I collaborate with other influencers online. And so I'm able to leverage their audience. I'm able to create these 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour long podcasts. People find me on there. Then they go to my YouTube channel. They consume my content. And then they book a call to speak with me. YouTube's a huge leverage point for us. I call this my one-person marketing team. I use YouTube for everything. We put all our best content on YouTube. This is going to go on YouTube as well because people can consume, our average video on YouTube is about 40 minutes long. So people can consume all this content. They don't have to speak with me, right? They're not booking a call. They're not speaking to appointments. They're not having to opt into anything. This is all non-gated content they're getting access to. And then when they're ready, they can go click the little link in the description down below and they can book a call to speak with us, to have us us install the same system for their business as well. Then you have short form content, right? So this is going to be TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, Reels, all of that stuff, where I'm also educating people. I'm a little bit more bullish on long form content than I am than short form content. To me, short form content really just exists to push the long form content, but the exact same concept exists out there. You need to be creating all of this content for them to consume before they're speaking with your sales team. Another super powerful, super leveraged way in order to make the sale before the sale is through an email newsletter. So let's say that somebody's done about 50% or 60% of the buyer's journey, and they're ready to give you their email. And I know some people are like, what? 50% of the buyer's journey before they're ready to give you their email? That's true. People are very guarded with their contact information today, right? They're only wanting to give it out because they know they're going to get freaking bombarded with your marketing messages as soon as they give you their email. So they're really saving it for the people that they want to hear from. So we use an email newsletter called The Scaling Scoop. There's over 120,000 people on this newsletter, and we send out emails multiple times a week, educating them and making calls to action to them to book a call to speak with us as well. So this is highly leveraged because I can just write the email at the beginning of the week and everybody gets access to it. It doesn't cost me any more money, and it doesn't require us to get on a bunch of sales calls or appointment center calls. Video sales letter pages is another great example of the sale before the sale. You know, I talked about this previously, but a year ago I had a video sales letter that was 1 minute and like 37 seconds long. And I did that because I was like, okay, if I make this video sales letter this short, then I'm going to get so many booked calls. And that's exactly what happened. I got a bunch of booked calls. But the problem was people were not showing up to the call, or they were showing up to the call and they were saying, who are you? Or what is it that you do again? Or what makes you different than this person? And how can you help me? Blah, blah, blah. And so we were doing, in a 60-minute call, sales call, we were trying to do hours and hours worth of education and exposure. And so, of course, that led to a really low close rate. Or we'd close somebody, and then they get in, and they didn't really feel like this was the right fit for them because they kind of got maybe a little bit more pressured on the call. They felt like they had to make that decision right there on the sales call versus having done all the research beforehand and then getting on the sales call just to make that final decision right there. And then another really great way, I think, to increase to make that sale before the sale, very similar to a self-liquidating offer, a low-ticket funnel, is a membership site. We're very bullish on this as well. And this is where you're, instead of selling something one-off, you're getting people access to you for $7 a month, $37 a month, $97 a month, and they're able to consume content from you, incredibly leveraged. I run the entire membership site for our company pretty much by myself, and we have over 800 people inside of there paying us $97 a month, and they're learning from us, they're getting access to information, and then if they want to work with us more on a one-on-one basis, there's a link there to apply to work with us, right? So these are all the different ways that we are making the sale before the sale, and then we go through the rest of the process, right? Then they can book the call to speak with us, then we kind of qualify them through the process, then they show up to the call, then we send them the proposal, right? So this is only the last 10 to 15%. This is where the sales team comes in, the sending team, et cetera, and this is the 80% of the work over here. This is where you should be focusing the majority of your time, energy, and effort is on this marketing process, okay? So if you want to learn a little bit more about the self-sustaining funnel and what this all looks like, kind of walk through in depth, make sure you check out the video down below.